What's up?
Nothing much, man. You?
I'm doing pretty well. I guess would you like to begin by kind of introducing yourself and kind of
Yeah,
like who you are, where you're going to school next year, where you currently go to school, what events you run, and all that?
yeah. Okay, so my name's Wyatt Windham. I'm a senior at Lubbock County High School. I live in this town called Dahlonega. It's a small mountain town up in North Georgia. And I do cross country track. I run anything from like the 800 to 32 and 5K, and I'm going to Georgia Tech next year to run cross country and track.
Okay,
So
amazing.
it's gonna be good.
So you said you just went on you texted me and told me you just got back from a little run. How was that?
It was pretty good. I'm in the process right now of building. I took a week off from running after cross country. So I started at about
Mhm.
35 and I'm trying to build back up to like my weekly average, like in season, which is like 55. So I'm trying to do like 45 mile or 40-ish miles in like span of 6 days. So I was going to do 6 miles. I'm like, I feel like doing a little more. So I ended up doing like 8.5. So just
Okay,
pans out.
so yeah, sounds amazing. I'm gonna ask you kind of when and kind of why you started running, I guess.
Yeah, that sounds good. Oh, I got some water right here. Okay, I was a soccer player for most of my life. I started soccer when I was 4 and I played it for like 10 years up until high school. But my dad was actually my middle school soccer coach and he had us run a mile. And so I had never really run before. I had some feet issues for a while that my parents were like, I don't even know if he's going to be able to run. And I ended up having like the second time on the team as a sixth grader. My dad's like, we need to, and my dad, he played like 5 sports when he was in high school. He cross country was one of them, and he was pretty good, but I didn't even know he did it until he's like, hey, you should do that. And so it went pretty good my first couple of years. My team actually won a state championship in middle school as a team my eighth grade year, so that was really nice. And my ninth grade year, I was like, I have something I can do with this. And soccer wasn't going so hot at the time. So I quit soccer and I focused full time on track. And that's probably one of the best decisions I've made in my life. So,
Okay, so how would you say playing soccer from a young age impacted how you are now as a runner?
so a lot of people say, like, if you're like midfield or an offense, you like run around the field a bunch and that actually helps you. I was actually a defender, so I wasn't exactly like that, but I'd say probably my biggest strength. I wasn't really that technically good when it came to soccer, but I was. I grew fast when I was like
Mhm.
younger, like height since like eighth grade. So so I was big and I was decently fast. So I'd like if somebody kicked a long ball, I was able to run that really fast back and you be physical and all that stuff. And so I was able to somewhat take that into cross country, and I guess it helped. So
Okay, did your freshman year, did you do cross country? Was that your first official year doing it?
so my first year of cross country was seventh grade, and then my first year of track was ninth grade. So
Okay, so when you started in seventh grade, were you like a natural? Were you number one on your team, or were you always competitive?
yeah, so I was second my first meet, and then after
Mhm.
that second meet, I was always first on my team. There's a guy he's of my age. I'm kind of ticked because me and him were like really close, but he stopped doing cross country after middle school because he does
Okay.
bodybuilding like that now. But anyway, tangent.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that's so fun though. It's good to have a little competition, especially when you're in middle school.
yeah.
Just give
Oh,
you a little motivation to keep going. So I then going into high school, like what were your goals? Did you like dream or like plan on running in college from that point?
so I'll be honest. When it came to like me getting serious about like cross country, I'd say there's like two different phases of it.
Hmm.
My parents, I feel like they raised me pretty well, and they're like, don't expect to be some professional athlete, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I was in ninth grade, I'd say is when I started really taking it seriously, but I don't think it was till like my sophomore year in track where I started like looking at my times and I realized like if I pushed myself, I could actually, compete at a pretty good level at like D1. So from that point, I started trying to, push myself to get to that point.
Okay.
So,
So how was your like training progressed from freshman year to now where you are as a senior?
so So okay, so I don't know. I'll be honest. I couldn't tell you too much about like my freshman and
Mhm,
sophomore year. My program is our cross country program. It's not like a Marist or Lambert or anything where it's like a
mhm,
powerhouse, but it's really good. It's our coaches know a lot about running and stuff, and so they helps me get set up with the fundamentals. So it went pretty. I just followed what they had to, give me as workouts and stuff for first couple of years. I'd say it probably about maybe 30-ish miles, give or take. I couldn't really tell you, but my junior year was a mess. It was a mess because
mhm,
I saw, you got to get big mileage. So I ended up doing like 60 something miles in the summer and like, but I only maintained it for like 2 weeks and
mhm.
it was extremely inconsistent and it bit my butt in the long run. So, but I mean, junior track season, I kind of learned from that. I got a little better. And then this season, I um, got to a peak of like 73 miles over the course of the summer. And then I went down to about 55 and I
Mhm.
maintained consistently up until like a few weeks until state. So worked out pretty well.
Okay. So do you do a lot of intense workouts, would you say, or would you do more higher volume workouts with an easier pace?
I'd say that I probably have we usually do true track workouts
Mm,
during the week, so that's like raw speed stuff.
yeah.
That I have 1 or 2 days where I do like, fartleks, maybe a tempo type thing.
Mhm,
On my easy days, uh, every week I try to do a quote unquote like finisher. I like to call that. It's not like a full
mm,
on speed thing, but it's a little something to get speed. Like maybe, I don't know, a few hill repeats or strides or
yeah.
maybe fartleks near the end of a long run, something like that.
Okay. So you've had a lot of success. I would say I look back at your times and I feel you were very successful, obviously, the last couple seasons. But I feel like this cross country season, you've really kind of shown out, I would say. So how would you say like that jump was? Do you think you've always like had the fitness? You were just waiting for a good breakthrough race almost?
So I'd say that like it's kind of a mental thing as well. Like, I'll be
Hmm.
honest, like I got a little smart. I had to get a little smarter with my training, my race strategy, because you ask some of the people who've raced against me. I used to shoot out like really fast, like that first mile. I used to go hard, and I just constantly fade, and it wasn't the best. And like, I mean, I'd say like physically, I had to work hard. I had to build myself up, but a lot of it was like mental stuff too, and also because that's the thing about cross country. It's a big mental sport, and so I think it was like I'd get mentally beat by people. Like, I mean, sometimes I'd beat them, they'd beat me, that kind of thing. But it wasn't until like my junior track season where I realized that, I mean, a lot of the runners feel the exact same way I do. And there's
Hmm.
just getting around that. And so I had to like just tell myself, like, hey, when it comes down to it, I just have to bite the bullet. So,
Yeah. So what is your race strategy now? Do you negative split, even split, or still slightly positive split?
um, I'd say it's probably about even. I'd say probably my second mile, because it's 5K, right? I'd say probably my second
Mhm.
mile, my slowest by a little bit, but I'd say my last mile is probably my fastest. What I tend to
Okay.
do is a lot. I usually somewhere close to about when there's half a mile to a 1K left in the race, I pick out a spot beforehand where I want to kick, and because that's the thing, right? Like I'd say a lot of runners, like, the last 200, 100 meters just want to give out an all full out sprint, right?
Mhm.
And I was the same way, and I still am. But I feel like when you start that kick a little sooner, you can build yourself up. It's easier to get to that last kick, and your last mile is faster. So I'd
Yeah.
say like, but and also as well at the beginning of the race, I used to like, be obviously the first one out. My younger
Mhm.
brother, who's freshman, usually is like slightly ahead of me for the first, like, I'd say
Mhm.
maybe 100 meters of a race. And then I settle in that pace and, usually try to stick with the top of the pack if there is that. So,
Okay. So obviously you went sub 15 twice. That first time. Do you want to talk about that race a little bit?
yeah. So, a lot of people question that course because it just started out. And so,
Mhm.
for context, it might be a little short. I have no idea. All I know is that, University of North Georgia is a university in my town. It's D2. They only have women's cross country, but it's like their official cross country course. So
Mhm.
it's like collegiately, it's certified collegiately. I don't know what you want to say that, but I mean, to walk you through the course, it's basically a 3-lap course. There's a couple sharp inclines, and it's mostly flat. But on the way back around, back near to the starting area,
Mhm.
it's just for about a third of a mile, it's just slight downhill for like, so it's a lot of down. And so you just take advantage of that. And I think that the day I ran it was like, is a little rainy, a little windy, but the catch was the wind was pushing us, was going with us to the start. But then when you go around in the woods and have the down, um, slope, the wind doesn't push against you because you're in the woods. So it's
Okay.
just the weather conditions were like perfect that day. It was really good. And I don't know if you know Aaron Broderick, but he was in
Yes.
with me too. So we both kind of pushed each other for that, and he got a really good. He got a 15 flat too, so it was really
Yeah.
good.
I mean, that would be. I'm not gonna lie. If I finished 15th, I'd be a little mad.
Yeah,
Obviously, so close.
I mean it's still a good for a junior. It's a really good time, but I mean,
Yeah,
and
it's
he's
an
a
amazing time.
really. But I mean, yeah, just by that off.
Yeah, when
But
I saw that race, it was definitely I definitely questioned eligibility because I mean, obviously you're a legit 5K runner now or sub 15 guy now.
yeah,
So that kind of gives me a little more it's probably pretty close to 5K. But I feel
yeah,
like
and
everybody was just dropping so much time. And for me, it was really like I think either the third or fourth guy. Because I saw your name got first and I saw Aaron. So I was like, okay, those are two like legit runners. And then like the third or fourth guy, like I had no clue who he was. And he was
yeah,
running like
the fourth guy was actually my brother. I think the third guy was like
okay.
JD, but the fourth guy was like my younger brother. He got like a 15:28 or something. So
Okay. It must have been the third guy then.
yeah. And
So
then circle about the Garmin thing too. I
mhm.
feel kind of bad, and that's another thing too. Like I tend to get in my head all the time, right? And so the last couple of years with Garmin were like, I don't know if you followed it or anything, but they are like
I've
absolute.
raced it before.
Oh, you have like last year or
I raced it when I
when
was
have you
in
raced?
seventh grade, and that was an awful year. That was 2 years ago. There's like
Yeah, that
it was
was the
bad.
first. Yeah. That was the first time I raced it too. It was horrible. But I'd say like my junior year when I raced it, that was the second time. It was probably the worst race I've ever
Mhm.
had. And it was terrible. And like I said, like my inconsistent training, that was just the epitome of like it not paying off. And so
Yeah.
I was and I saw Jackson Hawk, and I know at Southern Showcase the conditions were a bit iffy, but I saw that Jackson Hawks, who really good runner by the way, ran like a 15:15. I'm like, maybe I should aim for like a 15:30. And my parents were like,
Well,
they're like, you can do better than that. And they were almost not disappointed in me, but they're like, you should think higher of yourself than that. So I'm like, okay, let's go for it. And so I got a 14:57, and I basically like I needed that because I needed to prove that I was, that caliber runner,
yeah. Well, not only did Jackson get 15-15, I'm gonna throw a little shade at Tommy because he had a great season. But Tommy, that was probably the worst race I've ever seen him run. He went like 15:30 and just faded so hard the last like 200. He went from first to like 11th or something. But
I don't know. Yeah, like that's fair. And that's another thing. And that's another thing. I don't really race a lot with those guys. I definitely follow
mhm.
them. Like, they ran this time, this time, this time, so on. But like, I mean, I'm hoping in track season. Like, did you see Midtown Mile last year
I
in
did.
track?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was my first time racing against a lot of the like Tommy Jackson, Strickland, like yeah, all those guys, like Liam Hanneman, all those guys. Those were my first time racing against them. Like, I remember it. Liam, really funny guy. I remember the
Love
first time
Liam.
I met him. Yeah, at UGA Junior Day. It was just when I was like a junior or something. I was there with
Mhm.
him, Jackson Hogg, and Liam's like, "Are you from out of state?" I'm like, "No."
No,
And then I
Liam.
saw him again.
Yeah, Liam's in his
Yeah,
own
no,
world
sorry.
sometimes, but it's
Yeah, no,
okay.
I don't blame him though, because nobody really knew who I was until like my junior
Yeah.
year. Like you go look back, I was like 36th or something, like my junior year in
Mhm.
state times. So yeah,
Okay. I mean, that's crazy. This year, Marist. Honestly, I would not be surprised if they have the 1, 2, 3 in Georgia for the mile.
yeah, like Oh my gosh, Strickland. Like
Oh,
I'm impressed. I haven't even talked. I talked about him. He like have you followed his times like from his junior
yeah,
year to his senior?
yeah. He's crazy.
He's I was talking with Ben. I at A6. I was talking with Ben Wynn about it, and he's like, "Yeah, this guy is definitely getting like he's improved a lot." So
Yeah. So I think one of the things with Andrew is like his like freshman year and like sophomore year. I don't think he really took it as seriously. And like
yeah,
I'll talk to the Maris boys a lot. I do a lot of like the meet like they're my favorite guys to either do interviews or like workout videos with. They're all just they're so good, they're so funny and like such good on so good on camera. But I was talking to like Tommy and he was like, yeah, Liam and Andrew, like they weren't locked in until they met me. So Tommy takes a lot of credit for their success, which is very funny. But it was definitely crazy because this year, I mean, Andrew had a crazy season. He really
oh,
dropped almost a minute. So that was insane.
yeah. I really hope that like he finds someplace like if he wants to run in college and stuff. I
Yeah.
really hope he finds because I mean,
I was
and also I
talking
saw that
yeah,
Columbia's
Liam
too
just
as well.
committed to Columbia. It'll be
Yeah, it's
you
pretty.
against him for the battle of the smart schools, I guess.
Yeah, true that. And
Okay.
well, no,
So
you're. Oh, sorry. I
no
just
you
wanted to mention Dermot too. I mean,
Mhm.
I don't. He may be more of a track guy as well because he dropped like what like a 409 mile or something at
Oh,
Midtown, but he's committed.
yeah, 4-9.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I'm sorry
Lee
though.
no. But yeah, I'll just add on now. Like Liam, he's a 800 guy, really. I think he says so.
Yeah, like 152's no joke for a distance runner.
Yeah, I think he wants sub 150 this year, which I would love to see.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, now that you mention it, I remember at Peachtree, his ultimate goal. He's talking to everybody on the bus. He's like, "I want to be like." He's like, "I want to run sub 9 and sub 150." He's be like, "Yeah, I'll be the ultimate runner." So,
Yeah.
I mean, not that though.
Okay. So when you committed to Georgia Tech, what was like the reasoning behind that? Because I'm sure you probably had more options. You committed somewhat early as well. I feel like into your senior season. So like, what was the just reasoning behind that?
Okay, so a couple things. And by the way, this is just something that I because I mean I saw some of your interviews beforehand, and I saw that you
Hmm.
interviewed Taylor Wade and Alex Irambide.
Oh yeah.
Alex is like my mentor, man. Like
Okay.
I raced against him when I was a freshman and sophomore. I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy is like amazing. Like I thought he was, insane. Everybody's like, oh, he double runs and stuff. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. But like, like doubles up in a day.
Yeah.
But anyways, he was a big part of that because I saw that he went to Georgia Tech, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Like, and originally there's also Cooper. I don't know if you know Cooper Timberman, but
I do.
he's yeah, he's there. He's running there. So and he beat me when I was the crap out of like race. He beat me in a race when I was like in my junior year. So, but anyways, I for my junior year, I really like I was like I wanted to go to UGA and stuff because honestly, I don't know too much in the ins and outs of the running world. I just like they're good at football, so but I went on a few different things. I also reached out to a few other schools too, but I went on an official visit to I'm sorry, not an official visit. I went an unofficial visit to Tech,
Okay.
and it good. It went like real like how like some people are like, oh, when you're on the right college, you'll just feel it, right?
Yeah.
I
That was you.
felt yeah,
Okay.
it went really good. And my dad, I remember talking to Coach, and also I talked to Coach Robinson beforehand. Like I can't thank him enough because he got back to me like really fast and stuff. He's really good at that. But I talked to Coach Drosky and stuff, and everything went really well. And my dad was just like, he's like, you gotta draw because I think I remember my times at the time were like a 9:30:32, 4:19.
Mhm.
4:19 was my best, like 16, and then I had like a 1:57. He's like, you gotta really you gotta be motivated and stuff. So,
Mhm.
anyways, so I got my times down a little bit, and then I went on my official visit. Like I think it was probably, I think it was a few months ago. It was a couple months ago, and
Okay.
it it was really like that was probably the best weekend in my life.
Mhm.
It was one of the best weekends. It was really good. Like those guys made me feel like that's the thing about official visits too. If you look, and this is some advice to you, you want you want a team where it's like you on your official visit, it's a really good sign if they're like if you get to hang out with the guys a lot. Like
Yeah.
good sign. And so I got to do that with the tech guys, and they treated me really great. And I'm like,
Mhm.
if I got half of that, or maybe like a fourth, I don't know, if I got like half of that, like when I run there, it's perfect. So
Yeah.
I had to get a few weeks. I had to wait a few weeks, or a week, or is a couple weeks, because you know, with this whole NCAA stuff, a lot of this stuff is a
Oh,
little now.
so messed up now.
Yeah, but like I was like fortunate because I committed a week before the SEC news came out about 10,
Okay.
like I
So
couldn't imagine.
stupid.
But I think so. They had to work some stuff out, and Coach Strosky, I ran a couple days after I ran a race. It was I think it was my last race before like regionals and stuff, or sectionals now. But Coach Strosky reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, you good to talk tonight?" I'm like, "Yes, sir, will do." And my parents are like, "Okay, we can't take anything for granted." And he's like, "You want to make this official?" And I'm like, "Yes, absolutely." And so yeah, and
Mhm.
I knew that what I wanted. So a little bit of a long story, but that's kind of like my whole gist of like
Yeah.
how I so
Okay. I mean, you're going to a great group of guys. I know a lot of them.
yeah.
A lot of them are from my school where I go now, and I met a lot of them at Wingfoot running camp. They're all just amazing guys. I know like Taylor Wade pretty well, and he's a really nice guy. I don't know if you met Billy.
I got to meet Billy a little bit.
Oh,
I
gotta love Billy.
Yeah, I actually hung out with Taylor a lot too. I remember on my official visit,
Hmm.
me and my brother had to go use the restroom, and I don't know who's gonna see it, and I hope he doesn't get in trouble for this. But that we were trying to get into the bathrooms and stuff, but it was like there were some guards kind of around it, and he had the passes from my official visit and stuff, and he's like, "We have the passes," and so the guard had no idea what it was and just let us by, and we got to go use the restroom.
Oh, that's hilarious.
It was goofy, but he's a really nice guy. Like they all
Yeah.
loved it.
Uh
So
huh. I mean, I don't know if you know his brother Devin. Um,
yes, I met his brother too. I met his brother when
Devin
we did.
had an amazingly successful season. He got the Georgia Tech record. Like he's just crazy. He went crazy this season. Not gonna lie. And he was one spot away from making nationals unattached, which would have been really cool.
Yeah, that would have been nice. It's too bad I won't get to run with him because he's a fifth year, right?
Yeah, he is. He was
So
injured, I think, his sophomore season or something. So
yeah, that stinks though. But they all were like really nice guys. So
yeah, I mean, going into it next year, you'll be one of the top guys, I believe. I
yeah,
feel like I know a lot of those guys are pretty quick, but I mean, you're sub 15 already, and you're a senior, so it'll be exciting to see what you can do.
yeah, and I mean I don't know if we're gonna be talking about goal. Were you gonna ask me anything? I can save it till then. But were you gonna ask anything about like goals and stuff for track or?
Yeah, I was. Um, I was gonna ask you a couple non-running related questions, and then go into like goals for the future.
Okay, then I can kind of wait for that. But it was something
Okay,
kind of.
okay.
But so,
Yeah, so I guess well these aren't all non-running related, but I guess more like rapid fire.
right, yeah.
Um Start off with track or cross country.
That's really like I can't give a definite answer on that. It's like it fluctuates because it's like with track is really easy to pace yourself because like okay I have 1-2 laps left, right? I really like
Yeah.
this in the 32. I used to like the 800 because you get it done quick, but it's like now it's so hard for me to PR on that because it's like the shorter it is, it's like the more
Mhm.
second we'll have. So it's
Yeah.
going, but it's still really fun. And cross country is great too because it's like you get some variety, some
Mhm.
nice views. I guess I don't know, but I can't really give a definite answer. It changes. So
Okay. Best running shoe company.
okay, so I don't really. That's another one. So I will say my training shoes are Saucony Triumphs. I have
Mhm.
really heavy shoes. Especially I have like custom inserts or whatever that like really weighs it down. But it definitely makes like a difference when I wear my racing shoes. And I wear Nike Dragonflies for my racing shoes. I
Mhm.
also have I got them last season. I didn't use them as much. I'll probably use them again this season. I have Nike Victories for like
Okay.
6 and 8. So
Okay. 3 non-running related facts about you, like fun facts.
okay. That's kind of tough. I like 80s music. That's probably like I really like that. I'm a big retro video game collector. I like collecting like old like 90s stuff,
Hmm.
and I am a big dog turd person too. I have 2 Frenchies, so pretty
Okay.
nice.
So what kind of music do you listen to? Like in 80s music?
Um, I'd say probably I like Queen. I like Police. Let me think. I don't know. I just like a bunch of it. And it's not just 80s music too. I like a little bit from the 70s, a little bit from the 90s, that kind of thing. So, but
Do you
it's
listen to
mostly
any
like 80s
do you listen to any Beastie Boys?
Boys. Maybe a song or two. I'm not like as my
Okay.
mom was like I a lot through my mom because she grew up in the 90s and so she really
Mhm.
likes that kind of music. And
Okay,
I
that's my
listen to a bunch.
go-to pre-race.
Oh, yeah, sick. Yeah, and my brother is it's kind of funny. I secondhand listen to like all the modern stuff that comes out because my brother's really into like Kanye, all of that
Mhm.
stuff, and so he's like, "Hey, Wyatt, listen to this new song." I'm like, "Fine," you know. So, but it's
Yeah, I
not
think
bad.
yeah, I honestly think Kanye is actually the only new artist I listen to. So,
Oh yeah, well,
yeah.
pretty good song. So.
Hmm. I mean, I think it's either that because I do a lot of like more actual running videos now. It's either that or like Jack Johnson slower music like that. So it doesn't really work as well.
Get you. Hey, and I was meaning to ask too, how'd you get started with this? Because I've seen like your list of like all your interviews and stuff. That's
Okay.
pretty crazy.
So
Joseph
this is
Pump.
actually when I thought of the idea, this is really funny. Me and my brother, we just got done with a track workout. Um, we it was like pouring down rain. I was just running on the track. He's a senior too, so he was doing a little more mileage than me at the time. We do pretty similar now because he's more of an 800 guy. I'm more of a 32 guy. But I finished the workout before him. I got bored. I sat down, started like playing on my phone while like hiding under an umbrella. And I was just like, what if I started a podcast? And I was just like, the Run Fast podcast. That sounds so easy off the tongue. So I was just like, I might as well try. So I reached out to Joseph Pone. I just knew him through people on my team. Um, he responded. So I think he was like my first big guy. And then I just started DMing some other runners on Instagram. And then I went to go run with like Graham Blank's probably the biggest guy. So I went to go run
Yeah.
with him like on a shakeout run or something like a meet and greet. I was me and my friend William. We were the only people that actually got to talk to him, which was kind of funny. So everyone else was just like running behind us three.
Wait.
Oh,
I'm sorry. What's Will? I'm just out of curiosity.
William Mollig.
Malug? Yeah, no, I know him. Yeah, he's in our same region too. He and
Yeah,
my brother are me and my brother race, so he's a really nice guy.
yeah.
So
I mean, he's my go-to Fortnite duo now. I think he just
my
texted me
brother's
like 10 minutes ago to hop on. So, but
crazy. My brother to hop on and like lately, I'm a single player guy. So
yeah,
yeah,
he just likes beating me in like zone wars now because I suck. But it's okay. And then yeah, I mean, I just kept going, and then I started changing up content to do more like workout videos and running videos because those got more views. I saw because it's obviously like more widespread because everyone understands running, but like these podcasts really get in depth, I guess, with running. So not as many people understand that. But I just kept doing the podcast because I love doing them. I really have like a passion. I like as a younger runner too. It's very cool to hear like all this cool stuff. So like a lot of information is spread. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
yeah, and I mean that's definitely because you hear all this stuff through like experienced runners and stuff. I'm sure
Yeah,
that helps you out a lot.
yeah.
Definitely a good place to get.
I mean, when I'm talking to guys like Graham Blanks, who like he obviously grew up in Georgia, and like he's so successful now. I'm talking to guys like Tommy Latham, who uh fourth at NXN this year. So it's like so good to like hear like even stuff like obviously you're crazy, you're sub 15, so like even hearing any of that stuff is like better than hearing nothing. And I just hope more people start to like, I hope it grows more. More people really start to get into running and like listening to stuff like this, even if it's not my content, even if it's just like another running podcast, like the Running Effect or something like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, okay. If you could train, or like if you could only have like, I guess I'll go right back into the questions. If you could have one like type of shoe for the rest of your life, what would it be for like everything? Either a trainer, like super shoe, or spike.
Okay. That's really hard. Like, I mean, I'll tell you, I would not want to run a race in like my trainer. So, is this
Mhm.
like if this is this like just for the rest of my life, and like I guess I wouldn't be running for the rest,
Rest of
like
your running
racing.
career.
Okay. Oh, that's a painful that's actually
Mhm.
like pain because I have my trainers and they're really good for training, but they also provide me with like a lot of support that I wouldn't,
Yeah,
really get from my racing shoes. But at the same time, my racing shoes like help like training shoes would probably slow me down in race.
yeah.
So I would say two shoes, but like I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
So for me, every guy I've asked so far, I've only asked two runners. Kieran Lum, who's a professional runner for On, and then Graham Blanks. I haven't posted that interview yet, but he runs for New Balance now, obviously. They both said trainers, which was surprising to me because I feel like I would personally go like a super shoe, like the Vaporfly or something, because you can race in that and train in that. But I don't know.
Honestly, I don't have a lot of experience with
Mhm.
I have a lot of experience with like super shoes and stuff. But I honestly I'd probably have to agree with the trainers because
Yeah,
I prefer, running in these training shoes and my like feet and not having injury than running in
yeah,
the shoe and, do something to your feet and you're out for the rest of the season.
yeah.
So
I mean, if you're running with like spikes all the time, it's very limited to where you can run then at that point.
yeah, exactly. And so, like, I mean, I'd rather run slow and run safe than run with I don't know, like a broken Achilles or whatever you want to, get.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, honestly, the move could be spikes and just do your training runs barefoot.
oh, training barefoot. Yeah, that wouldn't work for me either. So, but,
Yeah.
try.
Okay. So, I guess you brought this up earlier, so I'll just move right into it. What are your goals for this upcoming track season? Are you racing any indoor beforehand? And what's that looking like?
Yeah, so I actually am racing one indoor. It's like Vanderbilt or something. I'm not really, I am, don't get me wrong, I am going to get a good time and everything, but it's mostly the experience because it's
Yeah.
through my training. I'm still trying to get my aerobic base up on track, and I'm just mostly doing it because I haven't done indoor before, and I'm doing it for I'm gonna be doing it in college, so I really need the um I'd say for track wise goals. I got a lot of goals because it's like times it's not as stressful anymore since I'm like committed. I
Yeah.
still I still need to get the fast times though. Like I'd say off the top of my head, like here my overall main goals cuz I run 800, 16 and 32. I'd say 32 is a bit bold. I'm trying to go sub 9. I'm trying like it's
100%. You got that.
it's going to be I would say it's going to be tough. Sub 9's no joke, but like I mean, my sophomore year, I had 9:45, and I brought it down to a 9:14 my junior year. So, I mean, I'd have to do less than half of that, and I get sub 9. Mile wise, I'd say 4:10 is like my first goal, and I want to try to get at least 4:05. And then for 800, 800 is probably the trickiest, but I want to try it. I shaved off 2 seconds because I had a 157 my sophomore and I got it down to a 155. I'm trying to get it to 153. It's probably my goal. But I
Okay.
mean, I have those main goals. But I decided I take a look at some because mile split. The thing about mile split is it's like you can see like it gets you intel on like all the guys who you're running against, right?
Mhm.
So I took a look at like Alex. I don't know if you know Joseph Jaco, all those
Oh,
guys.
I know
But I took
Joseph. Yeah.
yeah, he's really nice too. I got to race against his brother a couple times.
I
But
actually
but
interviewed
I
him and then lost the film for it, so I have to set up another interview.
That stinks. But
Yeah.
anyways, I saw other times like their senior years, and I'm on good track right now. But
Hmm.
I this isn't any offense to them. I'm trying to beat as many of their PRs as I can.
I love to hear
There's
that.
one guy, I don't know if you know Ian Johnson.
I
He's
think
from
so.
Pittsburgh. Yeah, he has like a
Mhm.
9 flat is his PR. He has like I think it's like a 408, 407 mile time, and he's got like a 154, 153, and he's like
Yeah.
really. So if I'm trying to, I mean, I have those overarching goals, but I also have like mini goals and stuff,
Hmm.
leading up to that. So I just got to see how it goes, and hopefully I'm fortunate enough to break some of those.
Okay. So do you want to do? I guess like I'll call this a little game. I guess. Do you want to do like your exact time predictions for each event going down 800 to 32, and I'll give mine too, and we'll see who's closer when you run at the end of the season.
Okay. Oh gosh, this is gonna stink. So I'm gonna do this conservatively. I've always done it like that. I'm gonna say. Okay, so you need an exact. I need an exact number, right?
Do the decimal.
Decimal. Okay. I'm gonna say 903.32. 407 and a half mile. And this is just all conservative, right? Like I'm trying to
Hmm.
beat this. And 153.75.
Okay. I'm gonna say for the 32, I've you going 856.73 for
Okay.
the 16. I'm feeling a 404. I'm feeling a 404. I'll say
Okay.
404.8, pretty high.
Yeah.
And then I think for the 800, I'm gonna do like a one. I'm gonna say 152.4 again.
All right. Yeah,
So
no, honestly, I'm gonna pray that you're right. I'm gonna pray that you're right on those times. I'm gonna work for that. So,
okay,
but sometimes I need people to say like, "Hey, you gotta go with these goals." You gotta because it's like if
yeah,
you shoot and you get like if I shoot for like an 8 like that, and I get like an 8.9 or something, that's still sub 9. So
yeah.
I'm gonna shoot up and get a decent goal. So
Here's what you're gonna do: beat Tommy. All you gotta do.
Tommy, like okay, I'll be on. I finished the deal. I mean I'm racing, and this isn't like I mean obviously I'm gonna have to work up, but
Hmm.
I point where because I raced Jackson Hogs it once this season, and I think it wasn't. I say it was at A6, and it wasn't my best race. I still did decent overall, but like I mean, it was like a 19-second difference, right? And so
Hmm.
I want to race him again at some point, and like see if I could get like maybe I don't know like 10 seconds, or on the 32 maybe
Yeah.
5 seconds because he's like a 904. So like I mean, even if I didn't, I'd still get a really fast time from it. So,
The
but
thing
I'm
with Jackson is he's so consistent. You're not gonna find him running like 9 flat one day and then like 9:30 the next. You're gonna find him running like 9 flat, 9 flat, 9 flat.
that, yeah, that's really I gotta respect that, and because that's the thing, like he starts strong and just keeps going strong, and that's the thing, and
Hmm.
hopefully I'll be able to get myself up to that point. But
Yeah,
yeah, I got mad respect for him. So
yeah. So I mean, I guess do you have any like winning goals? Like, do you want to win any meets specifically this track season?
um. I mean, I obviously want to win my state championships. That's
Yeah.
a big. Um, the thing is, like, my team's like a mountain in the mountains, right? So
Mm.
we're like a little smaller. So we like go to little like smaller meets. Like we typically don't compete with people like or Lambert or that kind of thing. So, but I have my fingers crossed. I think my coach said that and I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not. Apparently, I think we could possibly go to a Lambert meet or something. I don't know.
Okay.
So if I got to race against Jackson and like got even close to what he ran, I'd be excited. I'd be pumped for that race. So,
Yeah.
but
I
but yeah,
mean,
other
I
than
think
oh sorry, I'm sorry. You go ahead.
no, you go.
Honestly though, but I don't know. That's not really a guaranteed thing.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't say take my word with a grain of salt. So I'd say probably the big thing is state championships because I mean I have Aaron because Aaron has a 905 from last year. So
Mhm.
definitely tough. And then there's Bryant Young. I don't know if you know him, but he's pretty
Mhm.
decent too. So, or not decent. He's great. So I mean, they're gonna be tough, some tough competition, but I'm hopefully I'll be able to match that.
Yeah,
So
definitely. So I mean, like when there is so many great guys, I think Georgia's kind of underlooked. We don't have any. I'm gonna be honest. Our teams are not good, like overall for cross country compared to other states. We're not making NXN, but I feel like we have so much depth throughout Georgia. I
yeah,
mean, I feel like we have how many guys did we have in the 15 this year? It was either 4 or 5, and I mean that's just great. No, it has to be more now. I think it was like 6 because of running lane
yeah,
because Clint got it.
yeah. Clint got it. So it'd be me, Clint, Jameson,
Tommy, Jackson, Jameson.
um, crud. So that's at least five. Wait, who
Yeah.
else? I have wait. I have
Wait,
Tommy.
Tommy, Jackson,
Yes,
Jameson,
yes,
you,
yes.
um, and then Clint. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there
So I
anybody
think
else?
it's Aaron is 15 flat. Malachi is 1501.
Yeah.
So I think it is just you 5 then.
Oh. Oh. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry if we missed anyone.
I don't know. So.
Yeah, it's whatever. Okay, so going into college, what are you most excited for?
Um. Well, I'm really excited to be. I don't know. I'm really excited to be competing against like people like I'm. First of all, I'm really excited to be on a team of people who are like just as invested in cross country and track,
Hmm.
not more. That's like really exciting. Because it's always like whenever I get to race against people, whenever I do get to race people like Jackson, Tommy Ben Wynn, all those guys, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm with all these guys. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Um, like that with college because and that's the thing about Georgia Tech that I really like. It's in the ACC. You got like
Hmm.
really quality athletes in there,
Oh
and
yeah, definitely.
I think that I work really well when it's like there's a lot of pressure like that, and so I think that that's probably the best case scenario to where like I could see myself improve as a runner. So
Okay, yeah. I mean, you'll be racing people like Lex and Leo Young, who are obviously they're like practically celebrities. Like people asking them for pictures.
yeah, there was this I could have sworn there was this one. I have running friends. There's this one
Mhm.
girl who, like goes to Habersham and stuff, and whenever I first met her, she's like Leo and Lex Young, yeah. I'm like, okay, sure, yeah, but
Yeah. I mean,
like
how crazy would it be?
they're
Like,
like really
yeah,
celebrities. So
like how crazy would it be going up to someone who just like totally cooked you in a cross country and be like, "Can I have your picture?" Like that'd be
yeah,
insane to me. I feel like I don't know. And they're high schoolers too. That'd be so weird.
and I mean, yeah, I don't know if I'll be like because I need that's the thing. Plenty of like runners who start their freshman years, like and I mean Joe Spone's like really good, but he had to like redshirt because it's like North Carolina and stuff. I mean, no knock,
UNC's gonna be
like
crazy next year.
yeah, and it's like no knock against him because like a lot of
Yeah,
freshmen redshirt their first year, and so I mean. I probably won't be an exception. I'll probably redshirt mine first year. I'll run, but I mean I'll probably run unattached, and that'll get me, my
mhm,
feet wet the whole thing. And whenever if I actually compete points, then
yeah.
I'll be ready. So be good.
Okay. So I don't have any more questions for you. If you have any for me, I can answer them.
Well, I mean, really, the only one I had was basically like, like got you motivated with all this, but you
Yeah,
are. I gotta say, I gotta give you kudos for this whole thing because I mean, if I wish I'd cooked this up when I was your age. It's really cool what you're doing.
yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. If I achieve my goals for cross country, it's gonna be weird because I'll like be interviewing people who I'm hopefully beating in races. So
Yeah. Wait. So you're a freshman, right?
I am
What goals you got going in?
going into track. I'm not gonna lie. I had an awful cross country season.
Yeah.
Probably the worst season of my life. I set expectations that were really high, and my fitness was there. I could have achieved them if I had any good races. Bad race, bad race, bad race, bad race. And then it just, that was the entire season. I'm still really mad at States. I didn't believe in myself going into it. So I went out slow and I beat the runners who I was supposed to beat. A team still ended up getting second. So kind of just left me thinking I should have gone out with the leaders. I could have stayed with them. The time wasn't that fast. I could have ran that time. I mean, that's just kind of how my whole season went. So I think I'm really hungry going into this track season. I want to be under 940. I want to be mid 430s. I just want to be competitive in every race. Like, I don't care who I'm racing. I want to be competitive.
Well, if you got to those times, you'd be pretty close to where I was as a sophomore, man. I mean, what are like what like I ran like a 4:45 mile when I was a freshman. So you would have if you'd run those times as a freshman, you'd be cooking me. So, but yeah, those
Yeah,
are supposed to hit for though. Those are good.
yeah. I mean, honestly, I think your brother, he's going to be up there. Him and Dash. I think those two are top two freshmen this year. At least for cross country, they were.
Yeah, that I mean Dash is crazy too. Like I mean,
I
I
mean, yeah, I don't know.
yeah, because I think at Garmin I might have beat. I don't know how he did at Garmin. I might have.
Speaking of crazy freshmen, a freshman won Garmin.
Oh yeah. Oh, what's his name? Raul Newberry.
Rule. Yes,
Newberry? Was that his name?
Raul
Yeah,
or something.
yeah. That's crazy, man. And I thought I mean this. I remember when I was a junior, Riley Comstock beat me in like my first meet. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Like, it's like you think that's crazy. Like, watch this freshman who runs 14:30 something. That's like, oh my gosh, you know. I mean,
So yeah,
that's the thing about running, right? It's like I mean, times are great and all, but like in the next few years, it's like you're
he's
running.
improving by like 5 seconds. So
Yeah, it's like you see runners who are like just crazy and blow the times out of the water.
mhm. I mean, I was at New Balance Nationals last year. I watched him race the 32. It was so funny. It did not look close. He ran like 9:10 or something, or like 9:05 maybe. So
Oh,
that was just crazy.
that actually hurts my morale. That's bad.
I mean,
But
he could end up like Keegan Smith though. Keegan went sub 15 and sub 9, and he improved by like 20 seconds overall his senior year, and like didn't win any like national meets as a senior. But I mean,
yeah,
Keegan still had. I think if Keegan kind of screwed himself over going into nationals. He raced 4 hard races 4 weeks in a row. So by the time he went to nationals, he was just cooked. I feel like.
yeah, and also about nationals too.
Oh,
I
what a
can't believe
race by
like
everybody!
I did not know who Charlie Vouse was. Am I pronouncing that right?
Nobody did. I think so.
Yeah,
Kid came out of nowhere. I think he finished either third or fifth at his NXR.
it was fifth. He finished fifth. Like
So I
that's
mean,
crazy. I
you
have to
can't count yourself out. You always have to think you can do it.
Yeah, and that's the thing about cross country too. Like I had a coach who told me, right? Like let's say you have a line, right? And there's a
Hmm.
point on like your that's how like your fitness, that's how good you are. What you actually need to look for from that line is it's like a V, right? And that V in
Hmm.
between the 2 points in the V is like your range. Like some days you could be closer to the bad point where it's like you didn't have good. Some days you can be closer to the good point, And it
Hmm.
just varies. And like he might have had a bad day when he raced NXN or NXR his
NX.
NXR.
I
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
don't. I think he had a good race at NXR for him too. I don't think he was supposed to qualify going into it.
Yeah.
So I think it was just NXN. He really. I think. I mean, obviously, he was built. He's built stronger than most cross country runners. He's a little more broad, so that could be the key on a tough conditions on that course. So
Oh yeah, because the conditions there were like I was really lucky. I'm like, thank God Garmin had good conditions that day.
yeah,
So
Garmin is usually disgusting too.
yeah, no, it used to be like a real, and I think it finally got to that point this year where it was like a really fast course. But like, and I mean, it just, and it was kind of, I'm not
Mhm.
sad or anything. Like, a lot of people just didn't show for Garmin this year because of the last 2 years. And I mean, it was perfect this year. It was just as fast as it's supposed to be. But I don't know.
I
I just feel
mean,
something about
yeah. Okay. So I don't think I have any more questions for you. So
already.
I mean,
Well,
is there
and I
anything
just want
else?
to say,
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
really yeah, I think we're good. But thank you so much for this interview, though. This really means a lot
Oh,
to me
yeah.
that you can.
I mean, this is awesome, man. I love interviewing people. I mean, I'm working my way down the chain, honestly. I'm going like Tommy was number one ranked. I'm interviewing Jackson Hogshead soon. So I'm just working it down pretty much until I'll probably go to like the top 10, maybe top 20 in Georgia.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's awesome. Also, I'm trying to do more and more workout videos. So I don't know, like how far away do you live from Atlanta?
Probably about an hour and a half. I don't know
Okay.
how feasible. Yeah.
So I live like 15, 20 minutes away from Georgia Tech. So if you ever come down and do a workout, just let me know. I would love to come film you out. It would be awesome.
Yeah, if I ever do something like that, I try to keep you in the loop. So yeah, it'd be
Okay.
good. If you need it, just reach out and let me know. I could probably give you something. So
Okay. Thank you. Have a great day.
you too, man. I'll see you around.
Good luck on your track season.
Gotcha. You too.